Men think they're brighter than they are, and women underestimate their IQ. Why? It's a great article written by the actual researchers on this website called The Conversation. It's one of my favorite science websites because the authors of the article actually do the write-up as well. I'll show you the data here in just a second, but I wanted to point this out as well. The authors correctly note that there's a connection here to self-esteem. Basically, boys and men feel better about themselves from as early as we can measure self-esteem to as late as we can measure self-esteem. We can measure it at 6, by the way. I often argue that probably both our society trains girls to feel overly poorly about themselves and depresses their self-esteem, and that society unintentionally, mostly, hyperinflates boys' self-esteem. So here we have a scatter plot. On one axis here we have what people actually got on the IQ test. Over here we have what people thought they were going to get, their self-estimated IQ. Here the men's score and the men's average is in blue, and the female average and scores are in the green. So there's no differences in IQ. It's a standardized, normalized test. So the average is 100 for men, it's 100 for women as well. There's some studies show that there might be differences in the tails of the curve, but the center of the curve is 100 for both. And yet here we see that men consistently estimate themselves to be about 10 points higher than women. And it turns out men are significantly overestimating themselves. Look at these 3 scores. These are the worst predictors of all. Look, so these men guessed that they would have an IQ of about 120, when actually they're in the area of 82, 85. So they think that they're more than a standard deviation above the mean, but they're actually a full standard deviation below the mean. This would be like being a man who is 5'6", but who thinks that he's 6'2". That's literally how off they are. Meanwhile, look over here. Oh, where's my finger? Over here. The 2 highest scores on the IQ test were both by women, right in the area of 140, and yet they estimated themselves to be in between 100 and 110. They're 30 points too low. The smartest people in the study are severely underestimating themselves. Other studies in this area show that parents will rate their male children as smarter than their female children, and that kids, when you ask them to say who's the smarter parent, they're more likely to say their dads. It's all a cycle that just feeds into itself.